Hi guys, Ted Elsner, Sacramento Historical Fencing Academy. So today I want to talk a little bit about winding. I was fortunate enough to have a couple of friends that decided to risk the apocalypse and the global pandemic to come down and spend time 6 feet apart with each other and a pair of swords so that we could work on the winds. Now, Michael Chidester had made a challenge to asking the HEMA community to put together their interpretation of the 24 winds. And in this video, I want to cover ultimately 6 of them, although as we go through them, we're actually setting up and kind of showing what all 24 will ultimately be. So let's watch and kind of see how this works out.
So an important element we consider in all of our interpretations is that there has to be a reason for something. So in this first version with the thrust, it's because the opponent doesn't move. In the next version, we assume that the opponent steps towards us, which leads to a cut being more optimal as the thrust may miss. And so you can see here as the strike comes in, it's wound, and then his movement forward brings us in range for a strike. And then the final version assumes that as he cuts around, we'll need to apply the slice. So we're working a little bit more in the knock on that instance. So once again, we see the cut, the strike around, and a slice used to stop it. We'll see the same thing happen in these versions, but now to the other side. As he presses back against the initial winding to fight against it, we're given the thrust, the cut, and then an opportunity for the slice as well.
All right, so that first set of winds that we just watched is kind of our initial take on it, which is a winding from ox to ox. But realistically, one of the things that we've been working on based upon the rules that Meyer leaves for us in the Rostock is that windings shouldn't necessarily occur from one upper opening to another upper opening, but rather it makes much more sense to wind from an upper opening to a lower opening, which is what we're going to see now.
This particular interpretation we find to be really supported by Meyer's comments at the end of his longsword, where he talks about in the winding being able to drive an opponent down. We actually much prefer this particular version of the windings, going from ox to flug and vice versa, as it creates a much bigger opening with a lot more control that is a lot more frightening to the opponent.
All right, guys, so that was our take on 3 of the winds from ox. In a future video, we're going to come back and we're going to present all 24. This was just kind of an early look at what we're working on. It's part of a larger project that we've been pursuing now for a little while. As always, guys, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, criticisms, witty remarks, throw them down there in the comments. Also, if you haven't already, hit that like button. Maybe subscribe to us. Follow us on Facebook. We're always looking to answer your questions. We love to interact with you guys. So anything you can do to help us out, we appreciate it. And otherwise, we will see you tomorrow.